Got Jonathan Mast here. Jonathan Mast, we actually met back in, I think it was Cancun,
I think
maybe?
it was,
Mexico.
yeah.
It was, yeah. The Commitment Summit by Height Digital. Great event. And I actually remember Jonathan's presentation because I was like, oh my gosh, this guy has nailed how to teach people, how to get going with AI. So a lot of times, and I'm probably guilty of this, people make it complicated. I'm trying to like insert these frameworks in order to guide, the process of learning and make sure that everything that you do like leads to, something else. But for a lot of times, you just need to get on there and you just need to start doing things. And I think Jonathan has an excellent approach of, bringing anybody into almost any of the newer AI platforms and getting you producing things and really starting to understand just the power of AI. So very excited to have you here, Jonathan, and excited to hear what your subject today, and just getting some of that magic that you've used to create your 350,000 person strong Facebook group, which is also incredibly impressive. So take it away.
Well, Mark, thanks. I appreciate being here. I'm excited. My style, Mark, as you know, is a little different. No PowerPoints or anything like that, but I will be sharing my screen and talking about a couple things. Um, when Mark and I talked coming into this, we talked about, hey, what would really add some value? And I'm hoping we hit this today. I want to let everybody know if you're on the call or if you're joining us, we'll remind you a couple times. I love Q&A. So if you've got questions, don't hesitate to save those up. We'll definitely have an opportunity to go through those. I won't be paying attention to the chat while I'm talking to you, but if you put them in there, we'll do our best to get them answered and go from there. What I'm going to talk to you guys about today really kind of builds on some of the things that Molly talked about, some of the things that Orsi just talked about. It's about how do you build a seven-figure agency or business in this case, and it doesn't just have to be an agency. And there's a lot of things we can talk about. The part I'm going to talk about is how you leverage AI to do that. And I'm going to share a couple things with you guys today. I'm going to share some prompts. There's two key aspects to this that we're going to talk about. One is you need to design the ability within your agency. And by the way, this will apply to your business as well if you want, but you need to design that ability for your team to be able to deliver to your clients so that you can scale. You're never going to get to be a seven-figure agency. I shouldn't say never, because we may see that first billion-dollar one-person company, as Sam Altman talks about, but it's unlikely that you're going to hit seven figures as an agency all by your lonesome. It might be a fun challenge, but it's hard enough to build that type of a business. So I want to teach you how to leverage AI to do that. And the first step we're going to talk about is, again, how do we use AI? And I'm going to talk about my AI command center concept and how you can build that within your agency in order to make sure that you can scale because your team can deliver as fast as you can bring clients in. And then the second part of that, and this is really, again, what I'm building off of what other speakers have talked about, it's making sure you're leveraging AI, and AI is what I call AI assisted content marketing to build your brand. Because at the end of the day, if you want to rely on ads to bring stuff in, you're going to spend a crap load of money and you're going to get low response. If you build a strong brand for you and or for your agency, now that ad spend will get amplified massively because people won't be as hesitant to click through. They'll know when they see you. When you build a great brand, a brand that people know, like, and trust, and we're going to show you how to do that with AI, then all of a sudden when they see your ads or they're referred to or whatever else, they're a warm lead. They already know who you are because you've developed that rapport with them. So I'm going to jump right in here. I'm going to share my screen and I want to dive into the first part, which is how do we create a business that leverages AI so that we can scale to seven figures and even beyond. And I'm just sharing a screenshot here to give you guys a perspective. And I noticed as I shared it, I messed up my lines, but hopefully that'll all work out. You guys will be able to make sense of that. This is what I call the AI Agency Command Center. And what this means is, and yesterday, Molly talked about stacking custom GPTs, and this utilizes that same theory. What you do as an agency is you set up a specially trained GPT for every one of your clients. So we're talking about using ChatGPT now. You're going to go in and you're going to create a custom GPT for them that's going to be trained on that client, their organization, their values, their mission, their tone, their style, the audience they serve, Notice I'm not talking about marketing materials and sales materials so much. I'm talking about the company. This GPT needs to be an expert on the company. And then as an agency, what you're going to do, if this is in the agency model, is you're going to create specialist GPTs. These are the gray ones you see down below to function the way your agency delivers to clients. So I've got a general marketing one in there, but that's not really the exciting one. The exciting ones are all of these, and there could be more than eight. I only listed eight. But imagine as an agency, if you're a digital marketing agency, you're providing services to clients. Imagine having a content marketing GPT that is trained on exactly the way that your agency does that. Mark has this. Mark's got GPTs that are trained on how he helps people go through the AI Branding Academy. And it's amazing because those tools then can be leveraged by Mark, by his team, and even when he's generous enough, when he shares them with us. And what I want to encourage you to do is do the exact same thing for your agency. So you're going to want a specialist that's trained in how your agency does content marketing, how your agency does social media marketing, how you do email, how you do and write ads, how you write landing page copy, how you write website copy, how you do SEO, and maybe even how you do graphics. And I know one of the questions that everybody always asks is, okay, Jonathan, this is great, but why don't I just create one of them for my agency that has all of this information? You could, but have you ever heard of the phrase, and now I'm going to forget it because my ADD brain just went boop, blank. I hate it when that happens. But you can be a generalist where you're a jack of all trades, but a master of none. ChatGPT isn't a whole lot different than that. You can create this massively complex GPT and all kinds of custom training and all this stuff, but the problem is it's going to have a harder time remembering what to do when you ask it to do something specific. And it's going to do a less incredible job of following your formula. And part of this is your agency is teaching it how to follow your formula, your framework to keep everything on track. So we want to create these specialists that we can call in. And I'm going to show you exactly how to do this because I know somebody's going, Jonathan, this doesn't make sense. Let me show you because once you get this down, now when you have a client, let's say, for example, that you're an ad agency and you're writing Facebook ads or Google ads. When that client comes in, you no longer need to be the person that's writing those ads. You can train the GPT to use your client information and your process, and anyone on your staff can write amazing ads. Let me show you how this works. So I'm going to pop into ChatGPT here. My client GPT in this case is going to be my personal brand GPT, which we call Jonathan's writing assistant. This GPT has been trained on who? On me. So imagine that I'm your client and you're working with me at this point in time. Now what we're going to do is let's say that you're doing social media marketing for me. And so how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to call in or stack, as Molly talked about, a GPT in here. I press the at key and then I can pull in any of the GPTs that I have trained. And I'm going to pull in one I have designed that's called Viral Wave. And Viral Wave is specifically designed to create viral worthy social media posts based on the training that I've given it. This was actually partially inspired by Jeff Hunter, who was on the panel yesterday when Jeff and I collaborated on some things. And I've got two versions of it. I've got one that's just on viral posts, and I've got one that uses storytelling as well. I'm going to go to my old tried and true Viral Wave, and we're just going to pull that in. Okay, Jonathan, great. So you've got two GPTs. Whoop-de-doo, right? No, here's the really cool thing. Now, when I ask Viral Wave to write a social media post for me, it's going to also reference the training data in my GPT. It's going to know my tone, my style, and all that. And as a result, we're going to be creating a much better and much faster way to scale content. So I don't like to type when I'm on these because I'm type really slow. So I'm going to transcribe this and let's just give you a wild example that has nothing to do with anything per se, but I'll give you an example of how easily this can work for your team. In this example, if you're doing social media, please create a viral worthy social media post about a giraffe and a mouse caught in a sandstorm and somehow figure out how to relate this to the importance of using an AI prompting framework as opposed to relying on AI prompt lists when you're trying to learn how to do good prompting. Make this fun and engaging and add in a little bit of my humor. All right, pressed a little bit too fast before we got it. So I'm just chatting with it. I'm telling it what I want. Your team can do the same thing. And now it's going to leverage that viral framework and my information to go ahead and create a post minus maybe or plus a few more emojis than I might like, because this is ChatGPT after all, but it's going to allow me to do this. So imagine when you've got to create posts for a client that you can use the same type framework, the same process here, your social media framework, the client's information, and you grab that content map and anybody on your team, regardless of where they're located in the world, can create this. And let's see if it did a good job. I don't know this, you saw it was live here. So let's read this and see if this is any good. So the giraffe, the mouse, and the AI prompting secret. A giraffe and a mouse walk into a sandstorm. No, this isn't a bad joke. Stick with me here. The giraffe, standing tall, barely notices the swirling dust. The mouse? Well, let's just say he's getting tossed around like popcorn in a microwave. Help! I can't see! I can't breathe! Just look over the storm and keep moving, says the giraffe. Bro, I'm 2 inches tall. I can't look over anything. And this is the problem with relying on AI prompt lists instead of an AI prompting framework when you try to master AI prompts. A random prompt list is it's like handing the mouse a telescope. Cool, but unless you're getting obliterated with flying sand, oh, cool, unless you're getting obliterated with flying sand. A framework, though, it's like giving the mouse a ride on the giraffe's head. Now it can see above the chaos and actually navigate the storm. Prompt list equals scattered ideas and no strategy. Prompt frameworks, a structured system to consistently get results. If you're tired of AI giving you garbage responses, stop collecting random prompts like a squirrel hoarding nuts. Start using a framework that actually teaches you how to think when prompting. So now I could probably improve that a little bit, but we created that in about 12 seconds. Imagine when you're doing this type of thing for your clients, let's say that you're offering them one post a day. I know from when I used to have my agency, if we had to write 30 social media posts, that was something that was going to take somebody at least half a day to do, if not an entire day, to get good posts out of that. Now with AI, we literally can go in and you could have those 30 posts created if you took your time and drank 3 cups of coffee in 30 minutes. That's how you can start scaling your agency so that you can not only provide more value to your clients, but as that business starts coming in and as you grow, one of the biggest problems we run into in agencies is it's great when we get started. It's just me, it's myself, and I'm doing everything. I'm running. I got it all figured out. And then we start getting too much business and I need to get some help. When I bring that help in, oftentimes, and now I got to train that help. I didn't have it documented. Well, guess what? If you do this process using a command center setup for your agency, everything's essentially documented already because now that same GPT that you were using to go create this, because I do this myself, now you can give it to your team member. And here's the benefit. They can do as much or probably more work than you can do because they're not going to have all the distractions. This also means as you're scaling, you can bring on people part-time if you need to, or even hire a contractor to fill in because you could go find somebody on Upwork at maybe works 20 hours a week for you and handles all of your social media by following the process you've got set up. When we recreate that and we do the same thing, not only for social media, but we do it for our email marketing. How many of you guys as agencies have ever needed to write a drip email campaign and you went, oh boy, got to take a deep breath. Got to figure this out. I got to remember what the client's all about. I got to figure out the audience again. I got to go through. They can take time, especially if you want to do it well. Well, imagine instead that I pull in a specialist who's trained on the best drip email tactics, the best way to write drip emails, the most engaging way. And again, that fits with your agency's plan. And now I just tie it into my client GPT and I'm able to go ahead and pull all of that data together. The really powerful thing is as we're working through this, let's say I'm building out an entire campaign, I can actually begin talking by starting in my client GPT that we have. I can begin with like a marketing expert planning out a campaign. I can then call in my social media marketing one to develop the social media. I can call in the email marketing to develop the email marketing and a landing page and all that. So here's a great example. I just did this the other day. Let's see if I have the page up. Now, I'm not a graphic designer, so I probably could have done better, but we launched a new course the other day. not a big deal. I'm not trying to sell it to you guys. I just want to show you. I had the idea at about 6:30 in the morning. Generally, that means by 7 o'clock it would have been gone and I would have been on other things else. My team and I spent 67 minutes. I tracked it using ChatGPT, using this command center structure, okay, to create the graphics, to create all the messaging, to create all the content for the landing page, to create the video for the video script or the video script for the video that's there, to put all of this in place to sell a course. What type of course? It was a course that Jonathan had the idea at 6:30 in the morning that we were going to do. Normally, it would have never happened because I wouldn't have taken the time to have followed through on this harebrained idea that I had. Because you've probably had those too, maybe just me, but we have these harebrained ideas and we never go anywhere with it. By using this exact structure, we had launched it that evening. We had spent a grand total of under 2 hours as my entire team, 2 man hours creating the campaign, putting everything in high level, getting everything set up, launching the landing page. And I launched it at about 9 o'clock that night. The next morning when I woke up, guys, we had almost 500 sales. Now, that's not about me, but I want to point out the opportunity that exists here. And we're going to transition into how you grow your agency as well. We all have these ideas, and we oftentimes don't have the time to implement them because we don't have a system that we can follow to do that. Here's just a real world example of Jonathan's harebrained idea on Tuesday morning, launched Tuesday night, and 500 plus sales on Wednesday. No, not a big deal. They were $10 a piece. Okay, so it's not like I'm going to go buy a new Lamborghini, but it was still an idea that turned into about $5,000 in revenue. And it did it in less than 24 hours with only about 2 hours of staff work involved. This is the type of thing you can then start doing for your clients as well by delivering this massive value to them and executing on ideas faster than you've ever been able to do before. Now I can hear everybody in the background going, oh yeah, now we got to lower my prices. No, you don't. You're going to deliver more value and you're going to be able to do it faster. We all know you shouldn't work on an hourly basis, so you're working on a project basis. And yes, maybe you're going to add more project deliverables in because that's going to give you more value to the client, but you're not going to lower your price. You're just going to get more business as a result. So does this concept make sense to everybody? If you're on the call and it makes sense, would you just do me a favor and give me a 1? And if you're confused, if I'm talking too fast or anything else, let me know and give me a 2, and then I'll try to clarify. All right, I'm seeing some 1s. That's good. Awesome. Thank you, guys. I appreciate the feedback. So next, that's step 1. That's the command center. You guys are welcome to take this, use it, run with it. I'm not here to sell you anything, but this concept absolutely works. This is the same basic way that I've built my current company, and I'm telling you, it works. So the next thing I want to talk to you about, and this is something that a lot of other speakers have talked about as well. In order to grow a 7-figure agency, you need to create content, but not just any content, because more content is not the answer. Crappy content is not going to get you any clients. So going into ChatGPT and saying, ChatGPT, write me 100 blog posts and publishing all of them, or write me 100 social media posts and publishing all of them without making sure you're on target and adding value is going to be spinning your wheels. And candidly, it's probably going to hurt you because people are going to look and go, man, you put crap out and I don't want to hire you. So what I want to encourage you all to do, and I'm going to give you, by the way, this GPT here. I'll throw it in the comments and Mark's going to put it in the resource section as well. I'm going to share this with you. This is a custom GPT that we use that is, I love it. I'm biased. Okay, I'll be honest. I love it. But if you want to figure out either for your agency or for your clients, you can use it with your clients, what type of content they need to be creating. This is going to be talking about creating branding pillars. These are silos, essentially, topics that you need to be talking about as an agency or that your clients need to be talking about in order to deliver value. So again, let me go ahead and throw it in the comments just before I forget. You guys are welcome to use this. Let's see here. It is the Personal Branding Pillars GPT. And we'll paste that in. There we go. So if you you guys have ChatGPT, that's yours. Just feel free to use it. It's super simple to get started. Literally, we click start. I'm going to walk through just a couple steps here to show you what you can expect when you use this tool. You combine this with the type of stuff that Mark's teaching you how to do, and you're going to take off to the races. So I'll just give it a little information on me, and you'll see how this works. My current professional role is doing AI coaching and training, where I help businesses and their teams learn how to leverage AI to save time, to make more money, and to deliver more value to their clients. I'm absolutely passionate about the fact that I believe AI amplifies skill and experience, and I want to teach business owners, business leaders, and their teams how to leverage AI to amplify their skill and experience. My ideal audience or client is going to be an entrepreneur, a small business owner, or a business leader with inside an organization that's interested in figuring out how to take AI and truly do more for their clients, for their team, and their communities. And what makes my approach interesting is I'm very practical. I'm not going to focus on theory. We're going to literally focus on things that you can do today. All right, so thank you for allowing me to transcribe all that. That's a whole lot faster than me typing it out. And just that fast, by the way, if you've never done that, quick little tip. If you've never used the transcription service on your computer, you can do it on a PC or a Mac. Not only is it faster, but because all of these models are based on natural language processing, it works so incredibly well to get good response. So let's just take a quick look. I won't bore you with it, but it's saying my personal brand pillars based upon that. And you guys can argue with ChatGPT. It's not always right, but I should talk about AI for business growth and efficiency, how AI can automate and streamline workflows, how it can help with productivity, case studies about it, skill amplification with AI, hands-on implementation, trends and future releases, AI success stories. That makes sense. If you're wondering, and most of us as business owners, we're too busy to think about what we need to do. So we're reactionary. And if you want to try to put a plan together so that you can figure out how it is that you go ahead and create great content, take this and then combine it with those tools that we talked about over here. So grab your social media content tool, hop over into this and literally have it use that. So I'm in this GPT. I can go ahead again. I can call in my viral wave. We can stack like Molly was talking about. Let's go ahead and do that. Sometimes ChatGPT is a little slow. We got to wait for it. My biggest complaint. We can pull that in and let's go with number one. Please give me a post that I can make today talking about item number one. Notice I'm not giving it any detail here. It's literally just going to use the information it had. It's searching its knowledge base, how to pull all this together. And then here we go. It's coming up with a post. So again, we want to edit these. We want to take a look at them. Yes. But I'm hope that you see as we go through this, that when you leverage AI tools within your agency and essentially replace SOPs with custom trained specialists, you still need an SOP to give them a map. But now anyone on your team can do this for your clients. And just that fast, we've went ahead and I've created a post that's now fits in with the target audience I want to reach, fits in with the message that I want to share, and probably is pretty good. I haven't read it yet, but this is probably pretty decent. And if I need to, I can edit it in 30 seconds and post it. This is how you guys scale an agency and how you leverage AI to do it. There's more than just AI. But these two tips, creating the tools that allow your team to go ahead and do that through a command center, and then doing your personal branding, creating AI assisted content marketing to promote you that provides value to your audience. Here's the key, guys. When you do that, you're going to leap ahead of your competition because I'm telling you, very few of your competitors will actually take the little bit of time that it takes to do this on a daily basis. And when you do, you're going to leap ahead. You're going to become that go-to expert and you're going to be able to sell more and scale your agency. So Mark said I had 45 minutes. I know he's running a little bit behind. My guess is we're going to make up for all that, but I want to open it up for Q&A. Guys, that's literally my training. I want you to develop that command center, leverage that, and develop content marketing using AI assistance, not handing it off. It's not the easy button, it's the easier button. And I want to hand that off to you guys. So with that, what questions do you guys have that I can answer about the system, about anything I've mentioned, anything at all? What questions can I answer for you? Don't
That was
everybody speak up at
fantastic,
once, or
Jonathan.
I'm going to feel.
Very shy, it's still sort of the morning. That was fantastic. I love the concept of the command center because a lot of times, and I think I forget who said it in the comments, but when you try to load too many abilities into a single GPT, like it's like, giving somebody too much during a lesson, and then they're going to remember pieces of it maybe, but not the whole thing. And I think it tends to prioritize things however it feels like. So pulling in
Absolutely.
those extra GPTs is fantastic. Now, when you train the assistant, do you tell it that it can access the other GPTs so it kind of knows what's available, or do you queue it?
I haven't found the need to when you bring it in using that at symbol like that. I haven't found the need to do that. It seems to pull well from that. I've done quite a bit of testing on it because it's what we do internally. It's not perfect. It is still ChatGPT, so sometimes you'll go, hang on, why didn't you do what I told you to do? But it is so much faster to do that, and it makes that proofing easier. So yeah, we found just great luck with that. And literally, the other benefit then is, let's say you've got that specialist GPT. We'll use my viral wave as an example, where it's for social media. If you don't have a client, maybe you're working with a prospect, you have that ability to use that outside of that client relationship as well. But now imagine that you've got 27 clients. So you go to the client GPT, you load it in. And so, Mark, if I'm working for you on social media, I go to your GPT. And Jay, if
Mhm.
I'm working for you, I go to your GPT and I pull that in. And by doing so, I'm following your brand, your style, your audience, the things that you want to promote are automatically all in there. And it saves so much time because I don't need to retrain the AI. I don't need to re-upload documents. I don't need to do all of this. And the other benefit is, and I know somebody's likely to ask, why not use projects? Why use custom GPTs?
Mm.
It's because of memory. Memory doesn't apply inside of a custom GPT. And that's good when you're an agency working for multiple clients because I don't want to do posts for you, Mark, and then Jay move over and do posts for you and have Mark stuff start infiltrating what we're doing and messing things up. That's not a good place to be. So that's why we do that. I see
Oh,
that
that's fantastic.
Tandra just asked, do we build these out for clients as well? So that's up to you. We don't currently necessarily give access to the clients when we do this, but we do let them know we're doing this inside. And part of that reason is it creates stickiness. If you can imagine that, we're very upfront about the fact that we're AI people. That's what we do. We use AI to do a better job for the clients, to deliver more value. And when you come on with us, we are actually going to go through and we're going to create these AI avatars, these personas for your company. Now, what's the good news to you as an agency owner? 6 months down the road, when their brother-in-law gets laid off and decides he's going to start a marketing agency and they want to go support him, and the brother-in-law doesn't have all this. The brother-in-law doesn't have, or the nephew, they don't have these tools in place. And so when they think about leaving, you can go, you're certainly welcome to do that, but do realize we've got all this trained for you, and if you have to, you'll be able to compete on price even because you'll be able to do so much more than what that brother-in-law can do or anybody else. The other benefit is you create a stickier client because everything that you now create is related to that client and they know it. If you've run an agency with a team, as I have, we've had up to 17 members on our team when I ran a digital agency. Sometimes they create stuff and it's not exactly as good as you wish it were going to be. And sometimes it gets through the cracks and it gets delivered to a client, and you're like, oh no. With systems like this, you avoid that and minimize that tremendously. So hope that answers your question for you, Tandra.
That's fantastic. I think you got another from Jake.
let's say, how do we keep track of the order of the prompts? And how do you make sure that one GPT knows the results from the other? Great question, Jake. So the order of the prompts, if we follow an order, I would put that into an SOP that I have my team members follow, kind of like a chain of prompts. Here's what we do. Here's the recipe that we put together when we're doing this for the client. As far as making sure they know what's going on, you can pull, as long as you start with your client GPT and you pull in your specialists as needed, and your recipe calls for that. So let's say when we designed that landing page that I showed you guys about. By the way, it's super simple, but it's all right. We started with my course creator. I have a GPT that creates courses and explained what I was trying to do. I was going to do a 3-hour training, and here's what I wanted it to look like. Next, we went ahead and we brought in my general marketing idea. And it's okay, it now has access to everything that I talked about with my course creator because I've brought it into that conversation. It's essentially, imagine you're sitting in your office and I've brought all of my department heads or my specialists in my office, but only one of them gets to talk at a time, but they all get to listen to the conversation so they hear what's going on. And that's what happens is you bring in, and you can go back and forth between specialists. And then we brought in our email specialist to write our email campaign. We're sending out emails for the next 7 days promoting this. We brought in our social media specialist, who then had access to all of the information about the course, all the stuff I had shared about my ideas, all the stuff about our brand, and said, all right, now we need to create social media. Oh, and it saw the emails as well, so it can correspond to that. At the end, I'm like, oh crap, I forgot to do a video. I want to do a VSL on the landing page. I brought in my video prompt creator and it literally wrote a script for me because it had access then, Jake, to all of that discussion. And I didn't need to do anything other than literally I brought in my video script and I'm like, I need a VSL for the landing page. Go. That was seriously my prompt, and it created it because it now has all that information, and it was trained on how to write a great VSL already. I didn't need to tell it how to do that. So hopefully that makes sense, Jake. All
Nice.
right.
That's
Sounds like
amazing.
Adrian's going to feed off all this more. I love that. Adrian, I can't wait to see that. That's going to be cool. That's going to be absolutely awesome. Any other questions, guys? Anybody have any questions at all? If you do, I'm
Actually,
happy to answer them. Otherwise, Mark, I think I got you caught up on most of your time.
man, you're awesome. You're always awesome. Real quick, do you have a link to the that course that you were talking about? Because I know
Oh, yeah,
some
if you
people
want,
here
sure.
like I'm probably gonna take it because I'm like, oh, that sounds
Yeah, it's
fantastic.
it's wildly expensive, guys. So here was my idea. I'll throw it in the chat if that's okay. Is that all right, Mark? Can I throw it in the
Yeah,
chat?
yeah, go for it.
So, why wild idea I had. I normally sell trainings and people tell me I need to charge more. So I thought I'd charge 10% of what I normally charge. So we're charging $9.70 to do a training. And it's a test, I'll admit. It's a test to see how many people can we get to sign up and will it work or not work. And so far, yeah, as of this morning, that was Wednesday when I told you we're over 500. We're over 800 as of this morning. So yeah, it seems to be
Wow.
working.
Well, and just to give you guys, because the thing is, it's easy to like make these things too complicated. I'm gonna take the blame for this one on a lot of my projects because I'll think about it for like 6 months before actually doing anything. But what AI allows you to do is actually not take any time at all, because a lot of times time doesn't necessarily make things better. If you have the information and the concept right now is the best time to go ahead and bust it out. And again, we couldn't do this before, so it's a real shift from how you may have operated for the last your entire life, and can now just do it. Jonathan talks about his team, but he doesn't have a team of 20 experts doing it. It's just a few people, and
Yeah, we have we,
that's
we
really
have a
the
team of four.
four. Yeah, there you go. So he's able to put together something in 24 hours, launch it, and now he has 800 sales. And even if it is, we call this like a conversion product where, hey,
Yep.
you're establishing that financial transaction, and then next time when he wants to offer something larger, maybe it's just a standard $97 course. It's an easy buy. They're like, you know what? I spent $10 on this, loved it. At 97 bucks, like that's going to be worth it because the last one was actually worth it and then some. And now you have the relationship going. So, fantastic work, Jonathan. I'm really glad you were able to make it and appreciate, again, the simplicity. It's shocking to me because I'm like, I make my stuff too complicated, but you keep it simple and super effective, and that's amazing.
Well, thanks, Mark. I appreciate the opportunity and I look forward to hanging out and listening to Adrian and everybody else for the rest of the day.